Hi, boys and girls. We're going to do a little review of some polygons that we were learning about last week. So this is little math in focus. Extra practice, you won't be able to do this along with me, I believe. Or you can't do it from your own book, but you can do it just along with the video. So here is a shape with four sides, which makes it a quadrilateral. And this shape has all four sides the exact same length. Also, all angles on the inside are right. So what shape is it? Yep, a square. So we'll write square here. Okay. Over here, we've got a four-sided shape. You might notice that some sides are longer than others. Also, the angles are not necessarily right. So which of these options would it be? Also notice that these sides are not parallel. There is one set of parallel lines, but this set of lines would eventually meet or intersect here. So which of these options would it be? It's a trapezoid. Okay. This one, now moving away from quadrilaterals, are a little bit easier because there's a specific name for the ones that do not have the four sides. So if we count the sides, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it's a six-sided shape. There's only one name up here for a six-sided shape. And think about which one it is. It's a hexagon. Okay. Over here, we have a three-sided shape, and like with this one, the hexagon, there is only one name up here that works for a shape with three sides. So regardless of how long the sides are or what the angles are, there's only one name, and it is a triangle. Okay, let's count up the number of sides here. This is also more than four sides, so it's not any of our normal quadrilaterals. Also, let me take a moment to see if we can cross out the ones we've done. Yeah, okay. So triangle, we have had a triangle, we had a hexagon, we had a trapezoid, and we had a square. Okay. So this shape has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sides. Which of these names is an 8-sided shape? It's an octagon. Okay, and then we'll draw a line through. And I'll look into if there's an option for you all to have access to this. I'm not sure still at this point. Okay, so think about what you observe with this shape. How many sides? 4 sides, so it's a type of quadrilateral. This quadrilateral looks like it has equal length of all the sides, 2 parallel to each other, and this set is also parallel to each other. Now, technically, there are 2 names that would work for this shape. Rhombus, parallelogram, rectangle, pentagon. So technically, either of these names will work, rhombus or parallelogram, because it does have 2 sets of parallel lines. The difference between these two, can you remember? A rhombus is a special parallelogram that not only has 4 sides has 2 sets of parallel lines, but also all of the sides, are the same length. So we'll get back to this one because once again, it is both of those. Let's move on to the Pentagon. I gave it away for you. Now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides, and so I already gave you the answer, but it is a pentagon. So sorry about that. That is the one that kind of looks like a house, five sides for that shape. Okay, over here now we have, just a moment. Okay. How many sides does this shape have? 4. The angles, as you can see, are right. And the sides are not the same length. It also does have 2 pairs of parallel lines. This is technically a parallelogram. All of the ones left are actually parallelograms because they all have 2 sets of parallel lines. But this is a special parallelogram that is, you know which one? Rectangle, because it has all right angles, okay? Just like the square. A square is actually a type of rectangle because it has all right angles. It's a special type of rectangle because it also has all sides of equal length. It happens to be a parallelogram as well because it does have those 2 sets of parallel lines. Okay, but we've used up rectangle. Let's cross that out. Okay, now parallelogram and rhombus are left. Now, as mentioned before, this is both a parallelogram and a rhombus. This one we can only classify as one, though. Do you notice that these sides are longer than these sides? So what does that make this one, number 9? A parallelogram. A parallelogram is a quadrilateral that has 2 sets of parallel lines. A rhombus is a special type of quadrilateral and a special type of parallelogram that has 2 sets of parallel lines, and it also has 4 sides of equal length. Okay, so we used up all of the words. Okay, take a moment to think about for this one. The angles, we'll mark our angles and then complete the table. This polygon here, or as they already say, it's a triangle. To mark the angles, remember that we mark the inside of the polygon always. So this is the inside of a polygon where 2 line segments meet. This is another angle where 2 line segments meet. And this as well. I know that looks messy. Now, if it came at a corner like this, which is technically 90 degrees of a 360-degree circle, but think of like the corner of a paper, then we draw a little box. I'll show you an example right here. But when it's not a right angle, we just draw a little half circle. Now this has how many sides? 3. Vertices. Vertices is the plural of the word vertex. No, probably should use just a text box here. Let me write vertex. This is the singular for the point on the outside of a polygon. Kind of like it's the opposite of an angle. Angle is the inside of the polygon where 2 line segments meet. A vertex is the outside of a polygon where 2 line segments meet. So think about how many vertices, that's the plural, are on this triangle. So the outside points where 2 line segments meet. 3. Oh, very messy. Sorry about that. Now, number of angles on the inside, we already marked them. Also 3. Okay. Now for a square. Are these acute, obtuse, or right angles on the square? They're right. So we can mark these. Also, if you have paper at home where you can write draw out each of these polygons as we watch. That would be great. I know it's not ideal just to watch. How many sides are on the square? 4. I may need to use the text box and just make it a bigger font. Let's try that out. Okay. How many vertices are on the square? That's the outside points where 2 line segments meet. 4. Oh, much clearer. Let's see if I can erase this. Yes. Okay. And we'll use this from now on. Okay. And then how many angles are on the inside of the square? 4. Text box. Okay. Now for the 5-sided pentagon. Okay, let's mark our angles. And hopefully you have an easier time with just pencil and paper at home. Okay, none of these are going to get our little right angle box. Now, even though some of them could be right angles, actually it looks like no. Now, how many sides does a pentagon have? This is the sides column. You can count them up. 5. How many vertices? That's where 2 line segments meet. How many outside vertices are there? You can count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As you can see, it's same across the board with these shapes. And then angles on the inside. 5. Okay, got a hexagon next. Let's mark our angles of a hexagon. The inside of the shape. Okay. That's about as good as it'll be. Now, how many sides does a hexagon have? You can count them up. 2, 3, 4, 6. Okay. This column is for our vertices. How many vertices, outside points are there? That kind of is helpful to even point to each one. There's going to be 6 vertices. And how many angles on the inside? You can count up. 6. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and do octagon as well. Okay. You know what? This looks so messy. Let's just go ahead and have you do that on your own. Mark the angles of an octagon, but answer the questions now. How many sides does an octagon have? You can count them up if you want. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good. You probably know the answer to that one already, but feel free to count up your sides whenever you're unsure. And then vertices. As you can see, they're same across the board with all of these, but count up the points if you need to. And you'd get 8. This goes at fast at any point. You can also pause the video. It's because I do want you to get into the practice as we're doing more and more of these videos of taking time to answer. Like with the phonogram video I put up as well, take time to answer. If you need to pause at any time, I know some of these are short, some of them are longer, so that you have time to answer. That's what really is best, and kind of a nice thing about doing online learning because you can do it at your pace. Our last column is the number of angles. We didn't finish the interior angles, but there would be 8 angles on the inside of an octagon as well. Okay, a few little questions and we'll finish up here to think about. Now, do all polygons have 4 sides? Think about it. Is that true or false? False. Think about why it's false. The reason it's false, and let me make this smaller. This would be true of a quadrilateral.